couple of months ago, I created a video showcasing 20 amazing Google Pixel phone exclusive features that I wanted to see brought over to other Android skins. But today, I wanted to turn my attention to Samsung's own One UI skin. You see, if you thought Google's list of exclusive features was long, well, that is nothing compared to the crazy amount of exclusive features that Samsung jam-packs into their own Android skin. Now, to be fair, I actually find a lot of these features to be a little unnecessary or somewhat complicated, but there are still a huge amount that I think are amazing. And so for today's video, I've picked 20 incredible One UI features that I totally think should come to other phones. You ready? Let's dive in. All right, let's start right here on the lock screen. And the first thing to make mention of are these shortcuts. Right now, they're set up to launch into the phone and camera apps respectively, but what's really cool is that you can actually customize these shortcuts. So if we unlock the phone and head into the settings menu, we then want to scroll down and open up the lock screen menu and then come down to the shortcuts section. Now you can actually just disable these shortcuts altogether, which is kind of nice, but if we tap on this, we can then also turn on or off either shortcut independently and also change them to launch any app installed on our phone. Super cool. And then whilst we're on the lock screen, it's actually worth mentioning a hardware feature here, which is this ultrasonic in-display fingerprint sensor. And I know this isn't technically a One UI feature, but almost no other manufacturer is using ultrasonic fingerprint sensors yet, so I felt compelled to include a mention of it in this video. And that's because whilst initially the ultrasonic sensors Samsung was using seemed quite a bit slower than the optical sensors used by pretty much all other manufacturers, these ultrasonic sensors have improved at a rapid rate over the past few years to where they are now the undisputed champions in terms of in-display sensors. Not only are they outrageously quick and reliable, but they seem to hold up to less than ideal conditions better. I honestly can't believe so few other manufacturers have hopped on board yet, so hopefully that'll change sooner rather than later. And with the phone unlocked, let's now talk about the One UI launcher. Now, at first glance, it's a relatively simple launcher with a few handy bits of functionality under the hood, but nothing overly outrageous. With that being said, it's this Good Lock application right here that I love thanks to the outrageous amounts of customization it unlocks. Now, keep in mind, you do need to download this module via the Galaxy Store, but it's not like it's just some simple third-party launcher add-on. This is actually a companion app to the default One UI launcher, making it much, much more powerful. But the first bit of customization it unlocks is thanks to this module here called Theme Park, which allows you to create and install your own custom themes with different wallpapers, different color palettes, different keyboards, quick panels, all that good stuff. But the feature I absolutely love it for is this one here called Custom Icon Theming. Not only does this allow you to customize the look of the icons on your home screen launcher, but you can also use it to load in third-party icon packs. And if you tap here and then tap on Change Icons, you can even customize or change each and every icon individually. I love it, and I wish this was an option on other Android phones. And then there's Home Up, which is another Good Lock module that unlocks a few handy home screen customizations. But my favorite is the ability to unlock extra grid sizing options all the way up to 7x7. That's actually how I've managed to set up the home screen you're seeing right here. And just keep in mind, this is the native stock One UI launcher, which is amazing. Oh, but one other fantastic feature that the stock One UI launcher allows for is hiding apps from the app drawer. You can find this feature by long pressing your home screen, selecting settings, and then by tapping here where it says hide apps, and then you just check any apps that you want hidden. And it seems like such a simple feature, especially given how many apps we all often have installed that just sit in the background not needing to be opened, and yet so many manufacturers just blatantly refuse to include this in their launchers. Google. But back to the Good Lock app, and here we have another module called LockStar, which, as the name indicates, allows you to customize your phone's lock screen and always on display by moving around any component you like. Yes, even where the notifications are or where the shortcuts are, which is just crazy customization and can result in some really unique layouts. Then there's NavStar, which is a module that unlocks a huge range of tweaks for your system navigation, including changing its color, adjusting how wide or narrow it is, or even altering its transparency level. You can also adjust how sensitive the back gesture is, or whether it's even available straight away when you're using a full screen app. Not to mention the fact that Samsung allows you to just straight up make the gesture bar invisible directly from the settings app itself, and you don't even need NavStar installed for that one to work. And then the last customization feature I'm going to mention is this module here called QuickStar. This module lets you create your own custom quick settings panels, including changing the theme or even creating your own theme. You can also disable any system icon from your status bar, which is fantastic. You can reposition or even hide the clock from the status bar. And you can even enable this show quick button grid toggle, which allows you to adjust how many buttons can be viewed on a single page within your quick settings panel. And I know I've just spent the last 7 features talking all about customization, but in all honesty, these are the features I love most whenever I use a Samsung Galaxy device. And I mean, customization and flexibility like this is why a lot of us choose to use Android in the first place. So hats off to Samsung for giving us these options. All right, before we get to the next Incredible OneUI feature, I just want to quickly show you something else that's incredible. These Rokid Air AR glasses, and a huge shout out to the team at Rokid for being kind enough to sponsor this video. If you've been interested in getting into the world of AR glasses but haven't been sure where to start, well then the Rokid Airs are a pretty fantastic option. They have a really solid and futuristic design. They're also nice and lightweight, but even better than that is the display quality. You get a whopping 100,000:1 contrast ratio, a max brightness of 1800 nits, and with the glasses on, you get what is effectively a 120-inch movie-sized screen in front of you for an ultra immersive experience. You can use these glasses to play games with your console, you can watch videos on your phone, and if you're using a supported Android phone in particular, which, by the way, pretty much all Samsung flagship phones from the S9 and newer are supported, so there's another tick to Samsung. But if you are using a supported Android phone, then you get a whole slew of additional activities like native apps and native games that you can play. If you want to pick up a pair for yourself, then you can do so using the first link down in the description. And if you do so during their Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals, then you can actually get $80 off. All right, moving on to some handy gestures and shortcuts that Samsung have very cleverly integrated across the One UI experience. The first of which being the option to swipe directly into your quick settings by using 2 fingers instead of 1. See here, if I just use 1 finger to swipe, no matter how deep I swipe, it will only ever open up the notification panel, and a second swipe is required to see the full quick settings panel. But if I use 2 fingers, there we go. Simple, yet genius. Or how about here on the home screen? If I double tap anywhere, it'll turn off my display, and another double tap will turn it back on. Or what about the fact that I can customize a double press of my power button to open literally any app on my phone? Or what about when you're taking a selfie image? Rather than having to contort your body to both pose and reach the shutter button, all you need to do is hold your palm in front of your face, wait a second or two, and the shot will be captured automatically for you. And speaking of the camera app, how about the fact that you can actually swipe and then move the shutter button itself anywhere you like to make capturing photos a little more convenient? Or that when you point the camera towards any sort of document, the camera app will immediately identify it and give you the option to create a high quality scan of that document. I seriously love this feature, and there are a heap of other really handy shortcuts and gestures that you can unlock on top of these, some of which you'll find within the corresponding app settings, a bunch of others you'll find within this advanced features section within the settings app, and it's kind of staggering just how much flexibility Samsung offers its users with One UI. And one of the best One UI exclusive features that has been around for years now is this Edge Panels feature. You can find it under the display section within the settings app, and with the toggle enabled, you'll see this little indicator on the side of your display that, when swiped, will launch a little side panel. And this gives you quick access to a whole range of features and shortcuts that can seriously level up how you use your phone. You can also adjust what panels and shortcuts show up in this menu, and even reorder them if you like. All right, here's a subtle but seriously underrated feature: changing the flashlight's intensity. Now, you can do this on iPhones, but for some strange reason, most other Android skins don't allow for this functionality unless you install a third-party app. Samsung phones, you just swipe into your quick settings, long press the torch icon, and once you've turned on the flash, you can then adjust how bright or dim it is. And did you know about the cursor control feature found within the stock Samsung keyboard? Probably not, because it's disabled by default. But if you open up the keyboard settings, come down to the swipe, touch, and feedback section, and then open up the keyboard swipe control settings, you can then switch this to cursor control. And if you do, from there on out, you can actually long press the spacebar on your keyboard to essentially use the entire keyboard as a cursor. A bonus tip, if you hold shift and then swipe anywhere on your keyboard, it'll actually highlight text as you do so. Love this stuff. All right, second to last, we have what is actually a pretty large feature, and that is Samsung DeX. This is the feature that lets you plug your Samsung phone into an external monitor, essentially transforming it into a PC workstation. And honestly, it is staggering just how well this works. You pair it with a wireless mouse and keyboard, and no joke, there are a lot of people who could use this as a full-time desktop replacement. And I'll admit, this would probably take a lot more work to replicate than some of the other features on this list, given how impressive Samsung's implementation is, but I'd still love to see it supported on other phones at some point in the future. And so finally today, we have what is potentially the most important feature that is currently exclusive to users of the latest Samsung devices, which is 4 years of major OS updates. In the Android world, there is no one else offering this level of support, and the only manufacturer beating them is Apple, who offer 5 years of major OS updates, but keep in mind, they release like 5 new devices per year, whereas Samsung releases closer to 40 smartphones each year. Now, admittedly, this OS support doesn't include Samsung's Galaxy M or Galaxy F lineup of devices, which are positioned in the very, very budget smartphone market, so it kind of makes sense. But the fact that all of their latest Galaxy S, Z, and A lineup of devices have this level of software support is seriously impressive. And so there you have it. Those were 20 incredible OneUI features that I'm hoping other manufacturers will bring over to their own devices. If you enjoyed this video, then a sub would be greatly appreciated. But that's it. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you later.